Rose Zhang.
The right bunker.
History at Greyhound.
She tied Tiger's single-season win mark at Stanford, then won her first LPGA start as a pro, and people still ask if she's ready. The player is Rose Zhang. And the question isn't if she belongs, it's how far this goes. Here's the thing. Winning your pro debut on the LPGA hadn't happened in 72 years. Zhang did it in a playoff. Day 1, lights on. And yet her story still feels underplayed outside golf diehards. So, what kind of golfer walks in and rewrites history, and why aren't more people taking notice? Let's find out. Rose Zhang, 22. Stanford phenom. Two-time NCAA individual champion. The first woman ever to go back-to-back. 12 collegiate wins in just 20 starts, the most in Stanford history. But the real separator isn't only what she wins, it's when she wins. Zhang tends to deliver at the exact moment pressure should push everyone else off the edge. Hold that thought, we'll come back to that. Zhang had a Southern California upbringing, parents who encouraged multi-dimensional growth, and a junior resume that quickly went from promising to dominant, capped by the 2020 U.S. Women's Amateur. She was naturally gifted, but what set her apart was how she played, deliberate, calm, and disciplined. These are the qualities that take you forward in professional golf. June 2023, Mizuho Americas Open. Zhang had just turned pro, her first week living the LPGA dream. But few expected what came next. One round in, she was near the top. By Sunday, she was staring down veterans in a playoff. And then, she finished it. Calmly, clinically. Her first start, her first win. Something no one had pulled off since 1951. The question now wasn't whether she belonged, it was how long before she does it again. May 2024, Cognizant Founders Cup. The tournament reached its final stretch, tension thick in the air. Zhang was chasing, not leading. Then, hole by hole, something shifted. A birdie. Then another. Then another. By the time she reached the 18th, the crowd could feel it. She was closing in on Madeline Sagstrom. And with the win, she also ended world number 1 Nelly Korda's 5-tournament win streak. It wasn't just another victory. It was proof of a pattern, the kind of poise that shows up when others start tightening up. That's the moment that tells you a player isn't just talented, she's built for the long haul. Before long, her individual dominance put her on the radar for something bigger. How would she handle the pressure when she wasn't playing just for herself? That question was answered soon enough. Her rookie season threw her into something entirely new, the Solheim Cup. Imagine being fresh on tour and suddenly wearing your country's colors, playing not for a paycheck but for pride. In 2023, she faced Europe on foreign soil, where Team USA fought hard but Europe held the cup. By 2024, back on home turf, the roles flipped. The US reclaimed the Solheim Cup, and Zhang helped deliver the redemption story in both battles. It was a crash course in pressure, the kind that reveals who can handle the noise when everything's on the line. So, what makes Zhang's game translate so easily from college to the world stage? The answer is, she plays with control first, then power. Her contact is crisp, her tempo steady, and when pressure builds, she finds fairways and greens while others start missing. We saw it at the Founders Cup. Late in rounds, she seems to get sharper instead of tighter. That's the kind of game that travels anywhere, from windy links to firm playoff Sundays. It's not flashy, but it's reliable, and that's her edge. She seems to focus on small daily improvements and long-term habits instead of quick wins. Even in early 2025, she chose to balance a light schedule with finishing her Stanford coursework. Not the easy path, but exactly the kind of discipline that keeps her improving season after season. This is why her 2025 season started quietly. She kicked things off with a top 10 finish at the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions, and then took a break to focus on finishing her winter classes at college. When she came back a few months later, the rhythm returned fast. By the FM Championship in late August, LPGA coverage was already talking about how she was rounding into form again. It showed a clear trend. Her base level keeps improving, while the ceiling stays wide open. It's definitely not a straight line, just steady progress from someone figuring out how to balance school and the spotlight. Now, let's be honest, there's no next Tiger. Different eras, different ecosystems, but the timeline similarities are real. An absurdly decorated Stanford run, then immediate pro impact. The point isn't Tiger 2. It's that Zhang is already living on Tiger-like timelines, collegiate domination, and an instant win at the top level. The parallels are in the timing, not the domination, and that's enough to justify the conversation without boxing her into a false comparison. So why has nobody noticed? Two big reasons. First, timing. The men's game often dominates mainstream media, and in 2024 to 25, a lot of that attention swirled around scheduling politics and a few breakout stories. Second, expectations. When someone climbs this fast, the public perception shifts to, okay, show me the major then, which can make steady greatness look almost routine. Zhang's already performing at an elite level for her age. It's just that the moment she grabbed her first LPGA trophy, the bar shot sky high. Golf eventually humbles everyone. When the shine fades, what's left are the basics. Can you shape shots, stay patient, and handle the grind when par suddenly feels like gold? For Zhang, the answer skews towards yes. Her swing isn't flashy, it's efficient. Smooth takeaway, square face, controlled miss. It's the kind of repeatable motion that keeps paying off deep into a career. And when the pressure hits, she doesn't panic. She adjusts, finds solutions, and finishes strong. That's the foundation that wins over years, not just weekends. Also, balancing Stanford classes with LPGA life isn't a PR gimmick. It's a structural choice that explains her dedication. She slowed down early in 2025 to finish a term, then re-engaged. It's the anti-burnout play, and it aligns with a player who already showed she'll build the base before chasing volume. That's relevant for long-form careers, and it makes the next 3 years more interesting, not less. So, how high is the ceiling? By 22, she's already a multiple-time LPGA winner with one of the best college resumes ever and the ability to close under pressure. From here, the next step is clear, regular contention at majors and a season where she's in the mix every Sunday. That's when her story stops being about potential and starts being about dominance. She doesn't have to be Tiger for that to happen. She just has to keep being Rose Zhang. She broke records before most players hit their stride and won on her very first try as a pro. If that's where she started, what's her prime going to look like? And how long before the conversation shifts from, is she ready, to, who can stop her?